great chore, right? Of telling you about the things that's going to cause you all the trouble and the headache in your life. First of all, I am not a financial advisor. I have learned over finance over the past few years. So again, by studying books and reading books, stuff like that, and I've been blessed. God has blessed me with a wonderful woman that's worked with us together. She actually retired last year. I'll be retiring this year. So it's just been a blessing from that standpoint that we actually work together and do things together from that standpoint. I'm going to be coming from you from a book called The 21-Day Financial Fast. And it's taken after the concept of the Daniel fast. And the concept that it is that, you know how with the Daniel fast you abstain for certain foods? Well, this I heard is that you abstain from buying anything. Ladies, no hairdos for 21 days. Fellas, no haircuts for 21 days. No new shoes, no dressing. The concept is that each one of those 21 days, you are going to learn a different principle. I'm going to cover 7 of those principles tonight. Those principles to help you understand how to handle your finances better. Also, how you can actually relate to your spouse better. But just 7 principles going to help you on your journey through life from a financial standpoint. We good with that? All right. So first of all, this again, if you get her book, what I'm gonna cover is parts 2 in her book. She's got 4 parts. Part 1 just deals with debt. Part 2 is dealing with actually how you're gonna work in a relationship with your spouse, with your significant other, just how you plan your finances. So this is gonna be part 2 that we're gonna cover. All right, we're all good? And again, part 2, you can bring up the first slide there, brother. Should have been a slide before that, but that's fine. So entitlement. What does it mean to be entitled? Entitled means that you deserve something, right? You finished school, you got a good education, you got a promotion on your job, and you feel entitled. And when you feel entitled, a lot of times what you want to do is the first thing you want to do is go out and spend something, spend your money. And I'm going to tell you one of the 2 reasons why several reasons why this could be a problem in your finances. Let's say if you got that big promotion at your job, right? Or you got that certificate that's going to allow you to get another job. Or you finished high school, you finished college, and you decide, okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to go out, I'm going to buy myself the nicest car I can get. And that car may come with a 10-year payment plan on it. So by the time you get through paying for that car's already broken down, and then you got this debt and this finance you're going to have for the rest of till you get the next car. Don't get into that situation. Next slide, please. So the 2 things that would cause you problems with entitlement spending or the sense of entitlement spending and where God will not bless you is that if you get into debt where you are locked into a job where you cannot leave that job because you got to cover that debt, then God can't continue to bless you in the way he needs to bless you. In other words, if you got a house payment that is 50 or 60% of your 50 or 60% of your take-home pay, or you got a car payment that's make up another 30 or 40% of your take-home pay, and you decide, okay, I want to leave the job I got to take maybe a lower-paying job because it's more of my heart, my goal, but you're locked in because you got all this debt. So how are you going to be able to take a different job when you've got 80% of your pay already going into debt payment? You don't have any room or any margin in there to actually take on a different job because you done made this entitlement spending where you actually spent money on things that you felt like you was entitled to. I'm not saying not have a new car. Sure, you can have a car or have a car. But make sure that you can pay for that car with the expense. Make sure it's going to fit within your budget. If you're going to get a house, fine, get a house. Make sure that house is no more like 20 or 30% of your take-home pay. If it's more than that, if you're getting up to 30, 40, 50% just to pay the mortgage, and now if you're getting maintenance on the house, a roof's got to be done, or our heater breaks, or things like that happen, now you're going to be in an emergency situation. Does that make sense to everybody? You understand the concept of why entitlement spending? If you spend on things now that's just to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, and you're spending outside of your wealth, right? If you're spending more, if you're going out, your expenses is more than your intake, then we got a problem, and we got to fix that problem. All right? So are we good with that? All right, so let's go to the next slide, please. Okay. All right. going to talk about this next section. Let's do it this way. I'm just going to actually, let's not worry about the slides. I'll just read it from here on it because I want you to sort of understand the concept. The first thing is deal with entitlement spending. Entitlement spending we already talked about. The next thing we're going to talk about is contentment. Principle number 2. Contentment means that you need to be satisfied with what you have now. You're not looking over your shoulder for what somebody else has. Your goal is to be satisfied with what you have now. If you got a car that maybe is not the best looking car in the world, but it can get you back and forth to your job, and that car is paid off, and now you can actually save money, that's a good investment. You don't have to keep pushing yourself to get the newest car or the newest whatever it is, the newest coat or jacket or whatever, the newest Jordans is out there. You don't have to worry about pushing yourself to do those things because your goal is to make sure that you be content with what you have, and you want to use it till you actually use that item up. The last car I had for 15 years. I was going to CarMax to trade the car in. The car was smoking all the way to CarMax, right? They got into the parking lot, and he gave me, I think, a few $100s for the cost to take it. I don't care. I don't care what he gave me for the car. But the whole idea is to use it up because now what you do is you save that money. When you save that money, if you're content with what you have, you save that money, and then you go out and you can buy a car that you can finance maybe like a year, or even maybe just pay for it outright. But the goal is that you want to be saving your money and be able to sow back into the kingdom of God and be able to do the things that you want to do. It's going to give you bandwidth, where you can actually go out and do some things you want to do, where you're not worried about, if I get laid off, I'm not worried about getting laid off. I got some money in the bank that's going to take care of that. All right? We're okay with that? Yeah. So we got entitlement, where you're going to go out and spend something because we feel like we got to. We've got contentment, be content with what you have. And then the next thing, and also there are Bible verses on here. If you actually, tell you what, write this down on the sheet of paper, please. My last name is Isley, Isley, David@gmail.com. And what I do is I will send you this slide presentation and what I'm talking about here, so you have that for your own records and stuff on it. So I'll send it out to you. So entitlement, contentment, and here's one thing that we all struggle with, right, is doing a budget, right, and getting the budget together. And the reason why you want to do a budget is the budget gives you a financial roadmap of where you're going in life. It lets you set your goals, right? So if I have a budget and I write it down, and I say my budget this year is $50,000 that I'd be able to spend, right? And I spend $70,000. And let's say the year before that I had a budget that I wrote down as being $50,000 as well, and that year I spent $75,000. And the year before that, I had a budget that was $50,000 as well, and I spent $70,000. Well, do I really have a budget? Right. The whole point of writing a budget is that you want to get a good idea of where your money is going. Once you know where your money is going, now you know how to leverage it. I mean, if I'm spending 20% of my money on eating out for the year, then I know, well, maybe I need to learn how to cook more at home. You see what I'm saying? The whole thing with a budget is to give you a guideline or a plan on how you can spend your money. And you want to make sure that's accurate. It's got to be accurate, right? And if you don't have a budget, you don't have any idea how much money you spend, take 30 days. 30 days, keep all your receipts, every last one of them. Write down exactly where you spent all your money for those 30 days. Everything you write down. So that gives you an idea of what you're spending per month on different items, right? So that's going to give you an idea, and you just transfer that out to the next 12 months. But the goal is once you get that budget in place and you realize that, okay, well, I spent $2,400 on cable last year. Well, maybe I don't want to spend that much on cable. If I need to get a cushion in there, say if I need to save $1,000 something, maybe I'm going to cut my cable bill in half. That's my $1,000 savings, right? That's the whole goal, is to be able to find yourself that bandwidth that's going to allow you to start saving money for things you need to go for in the future. Well, all okay with that? Does that make sense? All right. And there are scriptures. I'm not going to cover the scriptures because I want to save us a little bit of time on here. But the points that she makes, Michelle Singletary makes in the book, is about the budget, is that it is a roadmap. And that's the key thing, is that this is a roadmap. If you got the budget right, if you plan the budget right, and you're actually getting somewhere within the margins of your budget, then you know where your money's going. And you know that you're going to have your money working for you the right way once you know that budget. So that's the key thing with the budget that's going on there. The next thing is the thing we're going to do the little demo with, and that's savings. And we're going to get to that in a second. But savings is critical if you're ever going to get to the point in your life where you're going to have the opportunity to retire comfortably, to be able to give to whatever society groups that you want to give to comfortably, to be able to build a legacy for yourself and for your family comfortably. You got to develop a saving strategy. So you got to be actually saving more money, or being able to make more money than what you're spending now. You have to be able to save. There's no doubt about it. And with that being said, let's actually flip over the sheets, and we're going to talk about this little scenario that we've got in front of us. And on the first page, you see that there's these are four families. We're just going to talk about A and D just to save a little bit of time. But A and D are four families. They all make the same amount of money. They all make $50,000 a year. See that? And everybody's got to pay taxes, so there's $10,000 coming out with taxes right off the bat. But let's look at Family D. Family D, they make $50,000 a year. They pay $10,000 in taxes, but they're still spending $50,000 a year. So they're going $10,000 a year in debt every year. Now, if you do it over 40 years, you're $400,000 in debt. All right, so they have no margin at all. They're not saving anything. They're going further in the debt. They're just trying to keep up with everybody else in the neighborhood, and they're just spending all the money. All right? Now, let's look at Family A. Family A makes $50,000 a year. They pay their $10,000 in taxes. They also tithe, and they also save 20% of the money. Now, understand the concept of saving 20% of your money, right? So if they save 20% of their money, and they're only spending 50%, which is $25,000, every 2.5 years, they've actually saved 1 year of income. So that means if they lose their job for 6 months or a year, they've got money in the bank to cover that for the entire year. So you understand. So what happens when you save a large percentage? That means you're living on a lower percentage. So that means that when you get to that final end date of how much money you need to save for retirement, it's a smaller amount of money that you need to save. Do we get that? We understand that? Because it's very important, right? Because if you go to the next page, they've worked 40 years, so now they want to retire. So you got Family D here that actually's got, they get Social Security. Social Security kicks in, and they get $10,000 in Social Security. So now instead of needing $50,000 to make it, they'll need $40,000. Well, $40,000, the rule that they use to actually calculate how much money you need for nest egg is they take how much money you spend and you divide it by 4%. So $40,000 divided by 4% means they need $1 million in the bank. Well, D is not saving any money, right? So they're not going to be able to retire. They're working. They're going to have to keep working probably till the day they die for their lifestyle, right? So you see yourself at 75, 85, still trying to figure out some kind of way of making it or cutting back your lifestyle. But now if you look at the A family, where they had been saving, and they've been saving the whole time, and this is just saving, it's not even investing money, it's just saving money. So if they saved $10,000 for 4 years, they got $400,000. And also because they were spending a lot less money for their lifestyle, only $25,000 versus the $50,000, and plus they got $10,000 in Social Security. Now their nest egg that they need is only $375,000. They got $400,000 already in the bank. So there's a good chance they can maintain their same lifestyle in retirement because they actually did a savings plan. Does that make sense? All right, so that's the goal behind that. And now let's say if there was a case where they had Social Security and they had a pension to go along with it. Now, if you look at Family A on the next page there, you got Social Security $10,000, you got a pension that's $10,000, so they only got to make $5,000 out of their other investments, right? They got $400,000 in the bank. They only need $125,000. So now they can not only have money to cover themselves, but now they can actually do some legacy planning. They can actually give to different churches maybe, or maybe give to different communities where they can actually build up those communities. They have a chance where we got gentrification going on in this community. They can maybe buy some of those homes or those houses at 4 neighborhoods, four people of our color in those areas. It's a chance to build a legacy. And that's really what you want to get to, right? You want to get to the point. You remember, what does the scripture say about that? I'll go to the next slide, Jordan. You can go to the next one after that as well. And here's what we're talking about, the multiple income streams. Here's where we got Social Security coming in, you got pension coming in, whatever you got coming in for your income. And also, eventually what you're going to do is the money that you're saving, you're going to want to put that into investments as well. But this is just dealing with savings, this income stream. But you want to find, and you need to get a financial plan or somebody that knows about finances before you do those investments. But the whole idea is that you want to have income coming in more than just from your paycheck, especially when you get to retirement age, when you want to retire. You got to have Social Security. If you got a pension, that's great. If you got investments, that's wonderful as well. The goals got multiple streams of income. Go to the next slide, please. And when you talk about diversification, is that you also want to have, and it doesn't talk about it that much in this point right here, but when you talk about diversification with your investments, that means not only maybe you want to have real estate, maybe you want to have money invested in the stock market, or maybe you just want to invest in just a business that a person's got a business, you want to invest in that person from a business standpoint. Those are diversification things you want to look at and consider during your time. But also you want to have what's called tax diversification as well. So let's say if you retire early and you want to get access to your money, and right now you can't get access to most 401k plans or IRA plans, so you're 59 and a half, right? And say you retire when you're 50 or 55. So you want to have some money that's not in those accounts. You want to have money both in IRA accounts, Roth IRA accounts, which is going to be you pay the taxes up front, so the money comes out tax-free, and you want to have money in taxable accounts. So that way, if you need to get money at any point in time, that you can pull money out without having to face a penalty getting your money out. Make sense? All right. Let's go to the next slide, Jordan. And let's go. I think the pastor and co-pastor covered the marriage thing pretty well, so we're going to leave that part alone about how you either join and be united from this point. Let's go to the next slide, because this is the slide right here. This is the part that I want to harp on, because this right here is the part where you are leaving a legacy. And this is where we got to get to. It's not about if I make it or if one of you guys make it. It's about if we all make it. That's the point we got to get to, where we are looking out for each other by the way we do it. So if we save and we invest in our own community, we invest in our own businesses, our own companies, our own people here in this neighborhood, then we can actually make a big change, a big difference. We can actually, some of the gentrifications going on, we can't stop all of it. We can have a say-so in some things going on in this community, in this town. It's going to be up to us. So it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it. That's the goal, right? The goal is not that you get out and you make it. The goal is that can we all get out? Can we all make it? And can we also have that legacy of that after going through for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation? It's a concept that we got to get to the point where we are not looking out just for ourselves, but we're looking out for our brothers and our sisters as well. Does that make sense? All right. And let's go to the next slide. And this is what I was talking about. The thing is, you train the child to be a good money manager, but also the main point that I want to stress more than anything else is that we got to be good stewards of our finances. We have to be good stewards of our finances, right? If we don't know, let's find somebody in our neighborhood that does know. If we need some help, we need some guidance, and we know somebody that's actually got out sooner or made it out sooner, let's talk to them. How did you do it, brother? How did you do it, sister? How do we make that happen? We've got to talk to each other and be willing to share our finances, our struggles that we're going through there. Look, Sharon and I, we've been blessed and we're fortunate, but we made mistakes along the way, many, many mistakes along the way, many heartaches, many headaches that comes along the way. All right. But it takes us going by and finding people that did make it. And some people that didn't make it may not look like you, may not be the same color as you, but if they got wisdom and guidance, listen to them. Understand what they did and why they did it. Understand those roles and how that happened, right? And then you take it back to your community and you make your community better. That's the whole goal. Let's make our community better. Let's work for our community and make things happen, all right? I sort of ran through this quick because I didn't want to run long. I know you guys was eating and probably getting tired and sleepy and all that stuff, so I'm just going to leave it right there at that. But hopefully you got something out of it. Again, email me on it and let me know if I can give you the slide presentation. If you've got something on this handout that you don't understand, just email me and I'll be happy to go over that with you as well. I don't have any problems with that. But more importantly, just take care of yourself and let's take care of each other. God bless you all. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful job. Amen. We thank you so much.